Basically, that's how we grew up. A lot of the nephews and nieces, he was our Uncle Frankie. But genius came when I started working with him. Because I'm not this wonderful person you see now. When I was like about 14, I was a major pain in the ass. And my dad was just taking over being a manager for the House of Carpets. And so I stopped really working with him, and he had talked to Uncle Frank about working at the House of Carpets, leaving Sears, because he was installing for Sears. And Sears wasn't really paying them that much, especially for the quality work that he was giving. So he went in there, and the first thing I know is, Dad says, "You're gonna be working with your Uncle Frank." And I was like, "Oh, man." And it was kind of weird because the first image that I have of my Uncle Frank is when I was probably about 3.5, 4 years old, because I still remember him walking in to the house when we lived on, this is when my mom and my dad were still married, and him and my dad walked in, and Uncle Frank had a little red tractor that you push, and I'm like, "Wow, this is this." And he brought it straight to me, and it's like, "Wow, this is great." So it's a riding tractor, I'm a kid, I'm like having fun with it, going off. My dad's laughing and stuff, because they had a couple of beers, because there's always a bar somewhere on Central by Broadway that they would always go visit, it was always like, "One near you." And so he gave it to me. And the main reason I really remember that is because I was riding it down the hallway, and my dad walked out of the bathroom barefooted, and I ran over his feet, and my dad just started cussing, and he says, "I gotta tell your Uncle Frank about don't get you nothing no more," and stuff like that. And later on, when we ended up leaving after my mom and my dad got divorced, my mom was able to get some housing for us, and we were about to move. We were going to start school, and then the house got put on hold, and it was in the area where Uncle Frank and Aunt Lane were living at by Cloudview. We were living off of Chico, and so my dad had asked, is it possible for them to stay by you? We're not too sure. Because he thought it was only going to be a week or two. It turns out to be like 6 weeks we lived with them. And Uncle Frank was like, yeah. And not only that, Auntie Elaine was like, yeah, because she was like a second mom to us too. And so we went over there. They accepted us as family. And we were always on good terms, man, because Auntie Elaine had the girls working. And she had her like, "Oh no, I don't want to get hit with any of that. Any of that off firing and stuff on there." And it was good, and so we go, and then after that, like my sister was mentioning, she was that we'd have the occasional games and stuff, and then it turned out that we've seen him very loosely here and there, and then I started working with him, and me being a punk ass that I was, and you still am, and I'm thinking, okay, he's gonna give me the whole, the whole right and stuff like this over here like that. Not as bad as Uncle Roy, over here like this, but because Uncle Roy really cares about us and he always wants to set up a good example. But Uncle Frank just started talking to me like a human being, and we just started going over here. And then that's where I got to see his affinity for country music, especially the same 4 cassettes he had in the van. Johnny Cash, Marty Robbins, George Jones, Conway Twitty here and there. I even bought the dude because he liked Buddy Holly, and I bought him a Buddy Holly cassette. And he played a little bit, man, but then it was always back to the, it was like a sad radio station. Okay, we're gonna play it over here. And it was kind of funny because I would want to. To say, he would say, "Well, what do you want to listen to?" And I go, "Well, this is some kids," because I was starting to learn how to play guitar, and I was like, "Yeah, over here like this." And he goes, "No, nobody wants to listen to that." And I go, "Yeah, there's people that listens to that." And he actually tells me, "Well, bring a cassette, and you can listen to it." So he gets in there, and we're sitting there, and I'm like all excited. We finished to Johnny Cash. He pops it out, and he goes, "Here, let me see that cassette." He goes over there, he puts it in, plays for like 3 seconds, ejects it. "Okay, you got to hear it." I was like, okay, I see. But it was the wonderful thing because he would do things that were like Uncle Roy was mentioning and stuff over here, the mechanical ability of him, and he never graduated high school. When he got to Albuquerque to be with my dad working over there, he was ditching. He was doing, hanging out with the girls. All the girls loved him and stuff over here. And the letters got to my dad. And my dad was like over here. He goes, "Hey, how's school doing?" He's all good over here. I go, "Yeah, you getting good grades?" He goes, "Yeah, over here." And then explain this. And he goes over here like this. He goes, "You don't want to go to school? Then you're going to go to work." And he took them, and that's when he started getting into the business of doing drapes, blinds, and awnings, and all the other stuff. And this guy had no fear of heights. And I had to learn the hard way about over here. This guy, he'd be on top of the ricketiest ass old ladder that was 20 feet in the air, doing his job in dress shoes. You figure you want a little bit of grip, but he'd be up there on dress shoes, and that was what he'd do. And he would come up with different ideas, and that's where that genius came from over there. The ace, I give him the thing over there because he called him aces because he very, very competitive, like everybody's been mentioning and stuff. And he would whip my ass in all kinds of sports. He would just, wherever we go. Tennis was the biggest thing over there. I had told the story to Laura and the family about one time that he had went to, and I think I got an ace in on him. I served, like, boom, and I got it in there. Oh yeah, and I'm like, okay, this is great. I got you right over here like this. Oh, you could just see it in his head. He didn't want to say nothing. His lips got like tight. He didn't even have. It was like South Park. He didn't even have lips. It was over here. And then next thing you know, he's hitting the ball, and it's coming in, but he's purposely hitting it at me. And I'm trying to get the hell out of the way. I said, get out of the way, you're like this. Okay, so you take it. So anything that he does, a lot of golfing. I learned a lot of golfing from him. We used to come over here and play the short course. Like I was explaining to Scotty, I go, me and your grandpa, we used to go to the short course, and they had a big tree over here. And we used to go play the first round, and then we'd come by, and then when we get done, we go, you want to play another round? Yeah, and then we would snake on number 2 again, and then go again. Well, this was before they cut down the tree, and they cut down the tree probably because of us. But the man himself, it was exactly that, a man. He was, he didn't have to, my dad was very vibrato. He's very alpha. He's on there like that over here. But Uncle Frank never had to prove that. You just knew about, his abilities and his kindness. I mean, he would take us all in just to be, to have just to have the love that he would share with us, especially with me and my sisters. And one of the funniest things that I always remember is I was young, and my stepmom Judy, love her to death, and he's with her now. When they were going to name Frank, and she wanted to name Frank Raphael. And my dad was saying, well, we already have a Raphael who goes over here. She goes, no, but it's like, it's different because it's coming over here like this. And he goes, no, I already got the name set up. And she goes, what? Frank. Because they got in an argument. I'm like, what the hell's going on? But when Dad said that and he knew exactly over here, Judy just snapped and agreed. It was just like, that was it. So that's how my brother got over here on there. Otherwise, you'd have 2 Ralphs. And one's bad enough right now. But when I joined the Army, he was like really proud of it, and I was like, oh, okay, it's gonna be good. I got really sad because I'm separating because he was my boss. He was like my mentor, my second father. Anything, I could talk to him about anything, and it was funny, it got to the point where sometimes he would talk to me, especially after when I got out of the service and we started working together, and we used to have some of the craziest times and stuff like that, and talking about the cheating, he would do his cheating over here like this. One time, I think it was 7 over here, he had a ball teed up, and he goes, go ahead and go, and he goes over here, and I'm like, okay. Right on, I'll go up over here. I'm not thinking that he's gonna do something dirtbag, right? Oh, he's doing something dirtbag. I get up to the ball, and I'm looking over here, and I probably give it the best Jack Nicklaus swing that I could possibly get it, hands down, boom, and a big old explosion, man, and it's all this dust flying all over the place and stuff. And he put an exploding golf ball. And he's sitting in the cart just laughing his ass off with a cigarette in his mouth. And I'm just looking at him and I'm going, okay, I see how this is gonna go. And I thought, so I'm watching him every time. I end up messing up when we went to go play Portal Soul. And of course, he's hitting everything straight down the middle, everything going over here, putting and stuff like that, just cause the perfect talent. Well, one of the few times I actually hooked it into the tree, so I'm getting out, and I hit the ball, and I actually was able to bring it in, and I see it going on to where he's at by the green, and I'm like, yes, I'm here. What a great comeback. This is a great comeback of the time. I'm ready for it. So I get up over there, and the ball is only like 13 inches from the cup. And he's telling me, that was a great shot, man. That just perfect and stuff over here. I should have snapped. I should have snapped over here. I get up, I don't even identify my ball, pick it up, like he taught me. Pick it up, identify it, clean it. You're gonna make sure you're gonna go over here, line up your marker. I get over there and I said, okay, I'm gonna go knock this thing in. I hit the ball, and it was one of those off-weighted trick balls that and I just and here he is holding his putter, just laughing his ass off on there. It was so many things because sometimes you would call that okay, you can call it cheating and stuff, but it was actually life lessons. These are life lessons that you're learning for other people, to watch for other people and what they do. You always want to have that open, kind heart. I mean, there one time, and it was kind of abrupt, but I remember I was talking about my grandfather, my mom's dad.
We're gonna have to eat.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's do this. Everybody, whoever, first that table, start feeding yourselves. Everybody, just keep listening. Please folks, start getting listening.
Okay, and I forgot where I was at.
You left Puerto.
Okay, we left Puerto. Okay, but the life lessons that we had all learned together, and. One time we were sitting down, and my grandfather had just died, my mom's dad. He's the best guy that I ever knew in my life. It was just straight up. And I remember telling that to Uncle Frank, and I said, yeah, he's the best guy over here like this. And Uncle Frank, not getting hurt about it, but he was just, well, what about your grandfather, Rafael, and stuff like that. And I just went, because. We had a close relationship when we used to drive to Socorro, and then we'd visit with him, but not like we did there. And I just said straight up, I said, I'll just tell you straight up, Uncle. I says, Grandpa Lopez couldn't put 2 feet in my Grandpa Tom's boots over here. And then I looked at him and I go, you are the second best man that I know. I told Uncle Frank that, and I was like, and that was straight from the heart. And you know what? There's so much more that we can go by, but I want you guys to be able to enjoy it, and I just want to let you guys know. You guys are badass for coming out here to help celebrate his life. You guys are badass here to give the smiles, to share the tears. And I appreciate you guys for coming over here and supporting my cousins, who are like sisters to me, and the whole family and stuff. And we do appreciate you all. You take care, and bless you all.